Hey Vineyard, today's lecture is all about writing body paragraphs for literary analysis essays. So the book that we are currently reading is The Road. So we will be writing a body paragraph for one of the prompts for your upcoming literary analysis essay. So this is the same prompt that you wrote one of those introductions for. So by the time you're done with this paragraph, you're almost halfway done with an essay if you want to use this particular intro and body paragraph. Just to refresh, the body paragraph is going to respond to prompt 1, which is the condition of the setting of the road is never fully explained by the narrator. Why is the world covered in ash? Where have all the people gone? Why have the remaining survivors turned into travelers, cannibals, and worse? Using your knowledge of the book and excerpts from the text, write an essay detailing what you think happened to this post-apocalyptic world, and in doing so, explain why so many survivors act with such cruelty. Ultimately, what is McCarthy's message to the reader about the nature of humankind? Is it positive or negative? So a couple weeks ago, you already wrote introductory paragraphs for this prompt. We're now going to be writing a body paragraph for this prompt. And the body paragraph formula is as follows. It is TBDAT, or topic sentence, background sentence, detail sentence, which is a quote, analysis sentence, and tieback sentence. So let's look at these in more detail. So your topic sentence is the main idea of the paragraph. It is going to support the central claim that you gave in your introductory paragraph. So think of it almost like a mini claim or a subclaim. It supports your central claim, but it's still going to prove a point within this body paragraph. So again, the topic sentence explains what you will prove in this paragraph. It's not a specific detail from the story, but rather it should take a stance on an issue from the story that can then be debated. So here's a topic sentence for that prompt for The Road. The apocalyptic event that sets the stage for the road's desolate setting may not be explicitly revealed by McCarthy, but it appears that the world suffered a nuclear holocaust, as the roads and streets are littered with cars still containing dead and decaying bodies, and the few remaining survivors wear masks and cheaply fashioned breathing apparatus as they shuffle about an ash-strewn landscape. So this topic sentence supports my central claim from that original introductory paragraph, but it also proves a point, or it states a point that I will prove in this following body paragraph. My point is that the road's desolate setting seems like it has been caused by a nuclear holocaust, and that this nuclear holocaust is obviously man-made. So now in this body paragraph, I'm going to show how McCarthy seems to illustrate that the setting was in fact caused by a holocaust. So after you give a topic sentence, you then give a background sentence. The background sentence isn't actually usually a full sentence. It's simply a sentence frame that sets up a quote. So it's going to give the context of the quote, the context of the detail. So it's going to tell me who says the quote or does the action, when that person says or does the action in the book, and where that action takes place in the book. And again, this background sentence frame is always going to come before a direct quote. So my background sentence is, at the start of the novel, McCarthy describes the world with truncated language that heightens its macabre depiction. That immediately sets up my detail, or my quote. And again, the quote is the evidence that comes directly from the story. I should be able to turn to a page and see the evidence on that page if you've given me a direct quote. So it can be a direct quote, or it can be a paraphrase or a summary, but for today I want to focus on direct quotes. So the direct quote that I want to focus on comes from page 12 of The Road, and I've already set it up with this background sentence, and I'm just going to give you a quick reminder of that background sentence. So at the start of the novel, McCarthy describes the world with truncated language that heightens its macabre depiction. The city was mostly burned, no sign of life, cars in the street caked with ash, everything covered with dust, fossil tracks in the dry sludge, a corpse in a doorway, dried to leather, grimacing at the day. So now I've given the direct quote. This direct quote from the book really early on does make it seem like a nuclear holocaust has occurred in this novel. If you look at McCarthy's description of the world, it's burned, cars in the street are still there, but they're caked with ash, everything's covered in ash, but there's still corpses in doorways. It's almost like people were frozen in time. So now that I've given this quote, I need to analyze this quote. I need to talk about this quote and how it supports my topic sentence, and also it supports my central claim. So again, my topic sentence is about how this world setting is caused by the desolation of nuclear holocaust. So my analysis has to really talk about that idea. So here's my analysis sentence. These descriptions allude to the painful imagery of the destructive aftermath caused by the atomic bombs dropped on both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The last gasp of a dying world appears to be caught forever in time, as the environment clearly has not recovered from atomic devastation. So what I'm doing in these two sentences of analysis is I'm just analyzing the language in this quote and how it supports my topic sentence. So I talk about how this imagery that McCarthy's giving in that direct quote, that detail, sounds a lot like, or looks a lot like, the imagery that we've seen from the atomic bombs that were dropped in Japan during World War II. And so that's what makes me, as a reader, think that it's a nuclear holocaust that caused the desolation in this world setting. Once I've given the analysis, my final sentence of this TBDAT paragraph is a tieback sentence. And this is where I connect the detail and the analysis back to the topic sentence. Basically, your tieback sentence should always answer the question, how does that detail prove your main point? So my tieback sentence is, McCarthy wants the reader to understand that this is a world destroyed by humanity, not some cataclysmic meteor or other natural phenomena. And really quickly, I want to show you my topic sentence where I talk about how the desolate setting of the road is caused by a nuclear holocaust. And you'll see that it creates this really circular sort of arrangement with my tieback sentence. My tieback sentence goes all the way back to my topic sentence, where I talk about how McCarthy really wants us to understand as readers that it's man, or humankind, and its violent tendencies that caused the world's destruction. So let's look at a TBDAT sentence in its entirety. Let's look at the whole, a TBDAT paragraph in its entirety. Let's look at the whole thing together. The apocalyptic event that sets the stage for the road's desolate setting may not be explicitly revealed by McCarthy, but it appears that the world suffered a nuclear holocaust, as the roads and streets are littered with cars still containing dead and decaying bodies, and the few remaining survivors wear masks and cheaply fashioned breathing apparatus as they shuffle about an ash-strewn landscape. At the start of the novel, McCarthy describes the world with truncated language that heightens its macabre depiction. The city was mostly burned, no sign of life, cars in the street caked with ash, everything covered with ash and dust, fossil tracks in the dry sludge, a corpse in a doorway dried to leather, grimacing at the day. These descriptions allude to the painful imagery of the destructive aftermath caused by the atomic bombs dropped on both Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The last gasp of a dying world appears to be caught forever in time, as the environment clearly has not recovered from atomic devastation. McCarthy wants the reader to understand that this is a world destroyed by humanity, not some cataclysmic meteor or other natural phenomena. So you'll see that my topic sentence flows into my background sentence, which then flows into my detail, which is a quote. I then analyze that quote and then tie my analysis all the way back up to my topic sentence, almost like it's a circle. Now, my final slide is about concluding paragraphs. We're not writing them yet. I really like small concluding paragraphs, short concluding paragraphs. So when you do get to your concluding paragraph, just keep in mind that I want you to basically keep it to like 3 to 4 sentences max. Your first sentence will be a central claim reminder. You're going to restate the central claim from your introductory paragraph. That's that last sentence of your introductory paragraph. You're going to restate that central claim in new language. Then you're going to summarize the main takeaways from each body paragraph, the main ideas in each body paragraph. And then your final sentence is going to be sort of your larger picture, your big message beyond the text. What is the author saying to the readers through this text or with these characters? How does this topic impact our society? It's basically your societal connection sentence. So I know this lecture just had a ton of information. So as you start writing your first body paragraph this week, I want you to come back to this video and rewatch it or chunk it up in parts so that you can make sure that you're hitting all the elements of this perfect body paragraph so that you're properly analyzing The Road by Cormac McCarthy. All right, Vineyard, have a lovely day.